find rest, my soul, in Christ alone. Oh, yeah. Know His power in quietness and trust. When the oceans rise and thunders roll, I will soar with you above the storm. Yes, I will. Father, you are king over the flood. I will be still, know you, dark out, yeah, yeah. When the oceans rise and thunders roll, I will soar with you above the storm. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. You are king over the flood. I will be still, know you are God. When the ocean rise and thunders roll, say I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over every single flood. I will be still, know you are God. Oh yes you are, oh yes you are. I will be still, know oh God.
Good day, everyone. We will now have the part 2 of our lesson entitled Creating Reality Through Fiction. Let's get on with it. Have you ever wondered what makes up fiction? Well, that's the focus of our discussion for today, as we will talk about the elements of fiction. As in real life, fictional life contains people who live in a particular place and time. They are engaged in some actions to resolve specific tensions or conflicts. The writer weaves a story about them that pertains to certain themes about life. The writer assumes a certain position or attitude about the story and chooses who is actually telling the story. In fiction, the writer is not necessarily the storyteller. By picturing all the elements of the story, the readers exit reality to enter a fictional world made real by the writer. And for today, we will focus on the elements of fiction, particularly on character and characterization, the plot, and setting. First, character and characterization, or the people in fiction. A story often revolves around the protagonist, or the leading character, and the antagonist, who is the character opposing the protagonist. The story requires focusing on a single quality of the character, for instance, his or her honesty. In a novel, many facets of the character may be explored. A fictional character must feel authentic and credible. They may be characterized in such a way so that readers can identify with them. Fictionists commonly use the following types of character. The first one is a dynamic character. A dynamic character changes during the course of the story. Scrooge in A Christmas Carol by English writer and critic Charles Dickens is characterized as mean and stingy. After a visit by three ghosts, he changes his behavior toward his workers by paying them fair wage, giving them time to rest and giving gifts. Next up, and the second one, is a static character. If the dynamic character changes during the course of the story, a static character is consistently the same throughout the story. Dickens could have characterized Scrooge as mean, grumpy, and unfair to the people who work for him up to the end of the story. Not even the scariest of ghosts could change him. If so, he would be a static character. The third type of character is called a round character. Round character is well developed and can show a variety and even contradictory traits. In Lolita, by Russian-American novelist Vladimir Nabokov, the protagonist Humbert is characterized as disgusting yet fascinating, deplorable yet brilliant, horrible yet ashamed of his own weak points. The last one is called the flat character. A flat character has only one or two traits. If Humbert only had charm and intelligence, then he would simply be a flat character. Next up is the plot or the storyline. The readers immediately interact with the plot because they want to know what happens next. However, the plot does not necessarily follow a straight path. The line slowly begins to rise as the character encounters something that demands action. The line continues to move upward as the action moves the character, and the line descends as the character achieves the outcome of the action. The plot provides the story a sense of continuity, speed or pace, and a thematic focus. The plot of fiction usually begins with exposition. The main character is introduced. Something happens that compels him or her to take some actions. These actions typically come in the form of conflict that leads to a moment of crisis or great tension. The conflict intensifies as the character attempts to deal with the complications or obstacles along the way. This usually happens in the middle of the plot or as the story thickens, while the character is in the middle of it all. The plot reaches a climax or a turning point where the resolution of the conflict is located. Tension falls as the complications are straightened out and the conflict is finally fixed. This is the resolution or the denouement part of the plot. The ending of the story reveals the outcome of the action on the character. It may be sad or happy ending, or both, or neither. An example of a simple plot structure is this one. In a typical boy meets girl plot, the storyline could go like this. In the beginning, the boy meets a girl. He falls thoroughly in love with her, and he decides to make her fall in love with him, whatever it takes. In the middle part of it, the girl falls in love with the boy. However, the girl's parents do not like him. Still, the girl decides to see the boy secretly, and the parents discover their secret meeting and decided to send the girl abroad. In the ending, the boy follows the girl abroad, and together they decided to return home to convince the parents of their love for each other. The next element is the setting, where the story happens in a particular time. In real life, we live in a particular place and find ourselves in moments of time. You get up in the morning and go to school. On campus, you excitedly talk about the latest movie with your best friend. If you were the character in the story, your setting is a place called school where you live in the present because you have seen the latest movie. In fiction, setting refers to both the place and time element of the story. Setting makes the fictional story real to the readers. It allows the reader to follow the actions of the character as they happen in a particular place. In the novel Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the early life of the protagonist Harry mostly takes place at the house of his uncle and aunt. The author describes the uncle and aunts as muggles and underline their non-magical quality. This setting establishes the non-magical childhood of Harry, who until his 11th birthday does not know anything about his special powers. Thus, setting can be implicit or explicit. You can show or you can tell. In grabbing readers' attention, however, it is better to show. You only need to sketch the setting, give it a few details to allow the readers to establish it. For example, clothes can set up the setting. If a character wears shorts and sleeveless shirt, readers can infer that one is in a warm place during the day. Objects can also show the setting. If a character makes a call on the telephone with a long curly cord and a rotary dial, readers can infer that the story is set in the past, or in a place where people do not have up-to-date technology. And that is the setting. Got it? Once again, we discussed about the elements that make up fiction, particularly the character and characterization, the plot, and the setting. For your activity, answer the following. Activity number 1. On a short bond paper, complete this character profile. Number 1. Where is the character from? Number 2. What is the character's social background? 3. What is the character's physical appearance? 4. What are the character's emotional traits? 5. What are the likes and dislikes of the character? 6. What are the character's interests in life? 7. How does the character face a dilemma or a problem? 8. How does the character think about himself or herself? 9. How does the character treat friends or family members? And 10. What is the name or nickname of the character? Once again, this is a copy and answer activity. Number 2 or activity number 2. On a short bond paper, complete this characterization. For number 1, how would the character behave in the story? Number 2, how would the character appear physically in the story? Number 3, what does the character want in life? 4, how does the protagonist treat other characters? 5. What would the character say and the manner by which the character would say it? 6. What does the character think or feel? 7. How does the character relate to friends? 8. How do other people treat the character? 9. Where does the character live and what kind of surrounding environment is it? 10. Where does the character get his or her name or nickname? 11. How does the character deal with family problems? And 12. What are the hobbies of the character? Once again, on both activity number 1 and 2, you're going to copy and answer it in a short bond paper. So yeah, that's it for today. And I'm still using the book Creative Nonfiction by Lorna Q. Israel, published under Vibal, as my main reference for our discussions. Thank you for listening and watching till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.